Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to this new video on BMNR, or new Bitmine stock video. I try to cover this once a week, so if you're interested in that, at the end of the video you think, oh, I like the way he's analyzing, consider subscribing, but that's up to you. For now, we're just going to do a full update. And before we get into the video, I quickly want to say something, because the title and the thumbnail of this video will probably be a little bit, have a bit of a doom theme. Ultimately, I am bullish on Bitmine, right? And the stock, last week, no, 2 weeks ago, I actually told you, I think we can actually rally from here, because Ethereum looked quite strong. So that was around, I think it was the second week of September. And from there, we went up about 40%. And a lot of people who followed that profited from that. So that's all great. And I actually do think that so far, we found resistance at $65. Which, as you can see, is a respected resistance level. And so far, it seems like we're going to pull back from that as well. Eventually, I think we'll rally back up to that. And I think we can also break above that. However, there's a couple of things that I think you need to know right now regarding Ethereum, right? Because ultimately, the price of BMNR is very, very reliant on Ethereum. Now, at this point of time, look, yes, I agree that on the short term, Bitmine is trading at a little bit of a discount. I think the total Ethereum that they're holding, and obviously this is fluctuating, but the total Ethereum that they're holding has a value of $10.1 billion. And I think the market cap of Bitmine is sitting at around $9.6 billion. So you can somewhat buy Ethereum at a discount compared to the market value of Ethereum, especially if you take into account all the other operations, all the other business that Bitmine still has. So that is true, but it's a minimal difference, right? So yes, that's good enough to expect some bullish momentum, but that's not enough to break above $65. And then outside of that, like I said, that correlation and that tie that Bitmine has to Ethereum is real. And there are some things that I do not like about Ethereum. For those of you who do not know, I'm actually crypto native, right? So I've been trading and I've been analyzing crypto for the last 3 years. I know quite a lot about that. And at this point of time, what we're seeing is that Ethereum is relatively weak. We obviously from Sunday to Monday, we had a huge sell-off. Some of you might know this. But there's been different ways that coins have recovered, right? Some coins have fully recovered the move. Other coins are still trying to recover. And if there's one coin, especially when we're talking about majors, that has recovered the worst, it's Ethereum. Ethereum at this point of time is very weak compared to other major coins, right? So then we're talking about Bitcoin, we're talking XRP, we're talking AVAX, we're talking Solana. It's relatively weak. And one of the reasons behind that could be, or at least one of the key reasons why we can expect Ethereum to be weaker in the short term, is this, the validator queue, right? What we've seen in the validator queue about 1.5 weeks ago is that a huge amount of Ethereum has joined the exit queue. So this is basically Ethereum that's staked, that wants to exit being a validator and wants to unstake itself, or at least the people that hold that Ethereum want to unstake it. Now, why would you unstake Ethereum? Potential reason, I'm not saying everything is going to be sold off, but a potential reason is to sell off that Ethereum. And there's still a huge amount in the exit queue right now. And then you could say, well, there's also something in the entry queue. Yes, but that's Ethereum that has already been bought. That's not buying pressure. While this can be real selling pressure. So we're seeing Ethereum underperform. We're seeing a reason, at least, to expect it to continue to underperform. And that's why, I think it's most likely that Bitmine is going to remain relatively stable for now on top of $50. But I don't think we're going to break above $65. And honestly, I think you should be prepared a little bit more for a pullback into our major support level, which in my opinion is this area right here between $40 and $45. Now, I do think that area is a buy, especially for the long term. So from there, I do think we can rally again. But ultimately, short term, I'm either neutral or slightly bearish for the reasons I've given you in this video. So do with that what you want. It's what I think and what I see right now based on all the knowledge I have. Ultimately, like I said, long term, I still think that Bitcoin is going to do great things. I think Ethereum on the higher time frames is also still bullish, right? So is there really a reason to be worried long term? No, but short term, we can actually drop down lower, and it can get a little bit boring short term as well. But that's what I think you need to know. So thank you for watching. Like I said, if you enjoy my way of analyzing the technicals in combination with the fundamentals, consider subscribing. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching and take care. Bye.